Highside Lowside, Season 8, Episode 4, and you are in for a treat because it's me, Spurgeon Dunbar, it's him, Zachary Quartz, my co-host, but what you're about to get is something we've never done before. It's the Motorcycle Trivia Challenge hosted by Spenser Robert. We're still going to have a Not the News episode, or Not the News segment around speed cameras. We're still going to talk about all of the comments at the end. Before we get into any of this, though, we need to do our regular old thing, which is a word from our sponsor, Motul.
Well, it'd been a minute since I'd been to Revzilla.com/Motul, to be honest, so I figured I would familiarize myself. Went over there and found this product, chain paste, and I got to wondering, what the heck is chain paste? Anyway, well, that's for Motul to know and for you to find out. If you think that lube isn't cutting it for you, you can go to Revzilla.com/Motul and check out chain paste, as well as every other Motul product sold at Revzilla.com. And in purchasing those products, of course, you will be in turn supporting your favorite motorcycle podcast.
And while you're over there on Revzilla.com, make sure you check out the RPM membership program. You can go to Revzilla.com/RPM for all of the additional discounts you might be missing out on if you're not a member. Discounts across not just Revzilla.com, but also our partners in Cycle Gear and J&P Cycles, as well as the Rever navigation app. So learn more about all of that at RPM. That's Revzilla.com/RPM. Now, on with the trivia extravaganza. Well, for as excited as I was about the trivia extravaganza there, it bears mention that we need to first do Not the News, our little segment of talking about things that are sometimes newsworthy, but maybe not the most topical. And one is a story that is being deployed to steal from the exact article. In the state of California, California is deploying speed cameras following a slew of pedestrian deaths in certain areas. Kind of just a quick outline here as I understand the article, Zach, before we start the 3-minute timer. It seems like this is mostly in areas around school zones and where street racing has occurred. Is that correct?
That's how I understand it as well. Yeah, basically this is like a 5-year pilot program in a couple of large population regions of California, basically San Francisco Bay Area and the Los Angeles area. And it allows for, speed cameras to be set up and tested and people to be fined in the most European of ways. This typically doesn't happen in the United States, which is why it's interesting.
It bears mention that this program is being implemented by local transit agencies, not the police. So while there are cash penalties that will be incurred, there's no points on licenses or criminal penalties for these cameras. And I think that's an important delineation to make as we start the timer and talk about our opinions for this program. So without any further ado, producer Chase, 3 minutes on the clock. Zach, thoughts?
So, it's very easy to say you just don't want to be surveilled, right? Nobody likes that. No one wants to be watched all the time by Big Brother or the man or whatever the analogy is you want to use. But, and I'm one of those people, I will admit to occasionally having a bit of fun on a twisty road, not necessarily within the confines of the posted speeding limit. Here's the thing. There was an incident in Los Angeles in Malibu, I believe, where a car was going way, way too fast on the coast highway right next to the water and lost control and smashed into a sidewalk and killed, I think, 3 or 4 college students or something like that, or hit them anyway. And you can't have that. You can't have that. Like, there are situations where driving too fast
there's a big
very
debate
clearly
on that whole
the wrong
stretch.
thing to do.
Yeah, there's a big debate in that whole stretch in Malibu that's been going on for a couple of years now.
It's hard because it's a thoroughfare. It's the only road that goes in any efficient way from one place to another. But there are also houses and there are businesses, and it's tricky. So I guess I'll simply state my opinion, which is that I am pro speed camera in urban areas where there are pedestrians, residences, businesses, and things like that. That's as binary as I can be about it. And if you're going to put a speed camera in the middle of nowhere on a twisty road or a section of highway, I just don't I don't think I can support that. But that's my general feeling. What about you?
Here's the thought that I have around this, and this is probably not going to be a popular thought. I'm with you. I agree that like in school zones and areas where street racing has occurred and deaths have happened, okay, let's move forward with this. I don't think, if I'm looking at there's an article up on Common Tread called "California to Deploy Speed Cameras Following Pedestrian Death." You need to check out the article.
Yep.
But the fines and the penalties are just cash penalties, right? There's no points. There's no criminal processing with this.
And to be clear, just quickly interrupt, the cash penalties are not very high.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay, yeah.
If you're going over 99 miles an hour in a school zone, the cash penalty is a $500 ticket. So let me tell you a quick anecdotal story about when I was substitute teaching at an elementary school in California, and I accidentally did a rolling stop at a stop sign entering the school. I got a police officer, which pulled me over into the school parking lot, read me a riot act like I was, showing up to murder children. Oh, okay, timer's up. Good, because we're now on a separate Spurgeon rant, which is allowed for unlimited amount of time. And my producer Chase just laughed out loud. I got like a $700 fine and multiple points on my license, and like it was a criminal charge. Like it was taken very seriously. And that was for rolling through a stop sign as I was entering a parking lot where I was teaching for the day. It was quite embarrassing. So I just don't think if you're going 99 miles an hour over the speed limit in a school zone, that
not
$500.
Not 99 miles an hour over the speed limit. 99 miles an hour, period. Or
okay, the speed limit's 25 miles an hour in a school zone.
I don't want to split hairs. I just want to be accurate here.
Yeah.
The point is, yes, I can certainly see bro in his BMW M3 being like $500 sounds like it's worth it to me. I'm definitely going to race this Camaro. I don't give a crap.
Exactly.
So I think that there's there's a whole other conversation in there about how expensive speeding tickets should be or how expensive traffic fines should be based on a lot of other things. But the timer's up, so we got to move on.
Yeah. But I think you bring up a really good point, and we say this often. This could be an entirely other podcast episode here, but I do think as we're looking at this, there is something here because I felt like that 3 minutes just flew by.
Right on. Well, hopefully, our not so subtle.
Who's the picture in this article? Who's the picture of the person blowing through the red light?
Speeding? I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean? Blowing through a red light? Just for reference,
there's a red light in the
joke.
photo.
It's a photograph of me from the Yamaha MT-10 launch, riding through the streets of Los Angeles, and I'm riding quite legally. I will point out. So
no, you look pretty aggressive on that motorcycle.
Well, I am not super thrilled that our lovely colleague Dustin chose this photo of me to use in the speed camera article.
Did you run out of gas? Did you run out of gas right after this? I mean,
I was on an MT-10, so probably. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? I hope that the not so subtle plug for Common Tread content got through to the back of your brains, and you will check out our the blog at revzilla.com/Common Tread, where you can find all sorts of lovely news stories, one per day, 5 days a week. At any rate, we should get into this whole trivia thing. No more beating around the bush. Let's bring Spenser in here and start asking ourselves some questions.
All right, Spenser Robert, everybody. You are joining us to play a game that Zach and I have no idea what you and producer Chase have cooked up for us, but it sounds like you're here to be a game show host for us. Is this how's this going to work?
Yeah, that's basically it. Chase told me that I would have absolute power over the two of you, and I asked no further questions, and so here we are, playing the first ever Highside Lowside motorcycle trivia challenge. Are the two of you ready for all the marbles?
Well, I'm so glad you jumped into trivia because I thought you said absolute power, and I figured like my time off request was going to get denied. You were just going to fly off the handle, and so it's good. Yeah, motorcycle questions. I'm ready.
We don't know where this game is going to take us, but I can give you a basic rundown of the rules that Chase and I have put together. They are quite simple. Basically, for the audience at home, Spurge and Zach are going to be battling for the top spot trivia supremacy. They're going to be doing that by answering 10 multiple choice questions. A correct answer is worth 1 point. An incorrect answer, see if you can follow along, is worth 0 points. Goal of the game.
I'm taking notes just so you. Yeah.
Got to be careful with you two.
Correct is 1 point.
So far,
Incorrect, 0 points. Okay.
So far, it's going really well. And the goal of the game, believe it or not, is to get as many points as possible. However,
goal of game.
Spurgeon, Jesus Christ.
there are a few additional rules and twists with how we're going to do this. The first of which is the old lifeline. And that's actually going to be 2 lifelines in this situation. You will both have 2 outlets of assistance if you get to a question that you have been stumped by. And you can use each of these lifelines only one time, so use them very carefully. And the lifelines are A, 50-50, which is, you can probably guess.
Sure.
I will remove of the 4 possible answers, I will remove 2 of those answers. Hopefully, I remove the two of them that are incorrect. I can't make any promises, but that's going to be my goal. And then the other lifeline is Saved by the Silver Fox, and this is a riff on the old Phone a Friend lifeline. But the Silver Fox, of course, is none other than editor of Common Tread, Lance Oliver, and we got Lance to answer these same questions that you're going to be presented with on a recorded line and sort of say what he thinks the answer would be. The caveat there is Lance was not given the correct answers. So when you phone this friend, Lance Oliver, a.k.a. the Silver Fox, he may give you bad advice. He may give you good advice. This is the risk you run with the lifeline.
Gotcha.
Well,
okay, so we get the question answered by Lance to the best of his knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
He might not know. He might give us bad advice. We're not sure. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, Zach, Lance is never trying to give out good advice. He's just,
That's true. There could be nefarious reasons for him to steer us the wrong way.
we get to use each one of these twice. So we get
That
2
is-
50-50s and 2 Lance Olivers?
Oh, no, false. You get 2 lifelines each able to use one time. So you will get one opportunity
Gotcha,
to
wow.
get saved by Lance Oliver. You get one opportunity to remove 2 of the incorrect answers. So truly use them sparingly because once you use them, they are gone. Now,
Are you sure we don't want to change the rules? I mean, it sounds like Chase gave you the ultimate power. Maybe we do
Yes.
2 of each?
on second thought, there are no lifelines, and one thing that you can use on any round is what we call double or less than nothing. And the way that works, also pretty simple. I will present the question, and before I present you with the 4 multiple choice options, you will have a chance to answer the question. In other words, you can answer the question without knowing what any of the possible answers are. And if you get the question correct without being presented any of the answers, you will double your point. So that is 2 points. Unfortunately, if you get the answer wrong in this double or less than nothing scenario, we will take a point away. So that means you theoretically have the chance of ending this 10-round trivia game with minus 10 points. So you really also want to be careful with the double or less than nothing decision, because if you need to make up some ground, you can do that, but you can also start getting points taken off the board, and that's going to be a tough hole to dig out of.
And where did these questions come from? Are these out of your ass? Where did this? I just want to make sure we're playing fair here, because
Sure.
and you're not biasing towards Zach and not me.
Well, speaking of who might have an unfair advantage, these questions are actually sourced from a Common Tread contributor, a Common Tread favorite, Mark Gardner. He has a book of motorcycle trivia, and Spurgeon says, knowingly there, because as I understand, Spurgeon, you may have a copy or 2 of these books on your shelf at home.
Well, I have a copy of both of Mark's books, and I gave them to my father. I think my father actually has an autographed copy of one. But I will be honest, for the audience listening at home, these books are they're basically books you're supposed to read whilst sitting on the toilet, and because my bowel movements are rather efficient, I don't get much time to spend on the toilet reading these books.
That was a very delicate little route you navigated there, where you didn't want to say basically in front of Mark Gardner, I haven't read your books, but you
Right.
also didn't want to say I've definitely read them, and so therefore I'm cheating, and you had to go with bathroom humor, which makes sense.
So,
Well, in any case, these trivia questions were sourced from the book that Spurgeon owns, but may or may not have read. So, Zach, you do with that advantage what you will.
Yeah.
do you not have a copy of these books, Zach?
No, I'm actually illiterate. People don't realize that, but that's why I host a podcast and YouTube videos.
Yeah, and he never goes to the bathroom, so he'd never have a chance.
It's true. I wouldn't have a chance anyway. Okay, so
Is that
10
what these
questions.
whiteboards are for? Is that what
Yes.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
That was
The
placed on my
whiteboards
desk.
for the audience listening. Zach and Spurge both have whiteboards, dry erase boards. They will be presenting their answers to camera. I will read them out loud, and this is so that they, aren't cheating. They're not hearing someone else's answer. They will be given a chance to write their answer down. Then it's pens down. I will say, present your answer, and we will see who is right and who is wrong.
Right.
And if we
okay.
do the double or nothing, we have to write our answer down before the question is presented to the other person?
Correct. I will give you an opportunity before I present the multiple choice. You will write down your answer, and then I got to see hands in the air to ensure that you are not changing your answer once you see those multiple choice options.
Show me your hands. Okay, so 10 questions, right answer, 1 point. If you go double or less than nothing, you have the potential to get 2 points or -1 point. It all sounds pretty simple. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous facing off against the former history teacher, but I'm excited nonetheless.
Yeah, I just wish I would have read these books a little bit more thoroughly.
Damn that efficient body of yours.
Yeah. I have one last question, then we can get started. What are the fake mustaches for that we have on our desk?
Yeah, I have a question too.
Those came from the high-end whiteboard manufacturer that we sourced your boards from. Those are for nothing, just for fun. That's Zach and Spurge were gifted free mustaches with their whiteboards, obviously.
So we've already won a prize, really.
That's true. Oh, actually, that is a reminder for the audience. There is a grand prize for the winner, other than the bragging rights, which of course is perhaps the greatest prize either of you could hope for. There is a mystery prize that will be revealed at the conclusion of the trivia game. I'm not at liberty to tell you what it is, but producer Chase has it on hand. It is something that I feel confident either of you will be very excited, very proud to be the owner of said prize, whatever it may be.
I don't trust either you or producer Chase at this point in time, because I can see producer Chase's shitting grin out of the corner of my eye, and I don't know where this is going, but damned if I'm not excited to find out. So I have no other questions.
All right, well, let's jump into it. You guys both ready?
Ready.
As we're gonna be.
Okay, 10 questions, starting with question number 1. Here we go. Question number 1, what country produced the world's first commercially viable motorcycle? That is, what country produced the world's first commercially viable motorcycle? And before I present the multiple choice options, would anybody like to attempt to answer this with no information?
I'm torn.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the list is going to be a bunch of countries that are pretty obvious, so I could guess one of them, but I'm so not confident that I don't want to risk losing a point. So no, I'm going to wait for the multiple choice.
I'm going to wait for the multiple choice. I would assume. Can we throw out an assumption ahead of time?
You can throw out assumptions, although bear in mind, if you throw out an assumption, you might be helping your competitor here. So it's up to you. Whatever you feel comfortable with, Spurge.
But Zach, what if we try to help each other out and we end in a tie and then we split the prize?
What if the prize is a kitten? Do we cut it in half?
Yes. I got no guesses. I'll play the game, so I got no guesses.
Okay. All right. Well, I will present you with the 4 multiple choice options. Again, this is what country produced the world's first commercially viable motorcycle. The possible answers are A, Italy, B, Germany, C, Russia, D, the United States.
Well, one of my 2 guesses is on there. I'm surprised it wasn't England. I'll be honest. I was actually.
That's
like gun barrel in my head. England was going to be one of my 2.
All right, so
guesses.
it It was A, Italy, B, Germany, C, Russia, D, United States. Is that correct?
That is correct. We're looking for the country that produced commercially viable motorcycle. So we're not looking for some guy in his barn that built a bike. This is commercially viable. This was produced en masse for the time.
I am not going to use one of my lifelines this early in the game. So can you just read me the letters again? I know the country that I'm going to pick. What were the letters one more time?
A, B, C, D.
Thank you.
It's A, Italy, B, Germany, C, Russia, D, United States.
Okay, I'm ready. I could not be less confident, but I'm ready.
I'm almost ready.
You don't have to write down the answer. You just have to write down the letter.
Well, that's just not the way that I do things, Zach. Maybe I'm just more thorough at my job.
Just more efficient.
All right, are you both ready to reveal your answers to your host and the world?
Yes.
I am.
Here we go. Round number 1. Spurge, Zach, when I say go, please present your answer. 3, 2, 1, go. So let's see. We've got... Oh, interesting. Zach Kortz went with B, Germany. Spurgeon Dunbar went with D, United States.
He's a patriot.
He's a patriot.
And the answer, while we wait and answer.
The correct answer.
Before we go with the answer, Zach,
agony?
what was your rationale, Zach? Do you
No, let's do that after the answer.
I want to do that after the answer.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's find out who wins.
Well, it's very exciting. One of you is correct. One of you is incorrect. The correct answer to the first country to produce the world's first commercially viable motorcycle is none other than B, Germany.
Hey-o. Wow.
I was just going to say, for a little background, because producer Chase provided me with information that I can pretend I had in my brain, which I do not. And that is the Hildebrand in Wolfmuller was named after its 3 German creators, Heinrich Hildebrand, Wilhelm Hildebrand, and Alois Wolfmuller, the famous Alois Wolfmuller.
Sure, of course.
The Hildebrands were steam engine engineers before they teamed with Wolfmuller to produce the bike's 1,489cc two-cylinder 4-stroke engine. They built about 2,000, and the high initial asking price and fierce competition from other competitors improving designs led to unsuccessful sales. So probably why we didn't know this, there are not, I'm guessing, many, if any, of the Hildebrand and Wolfmullers still around these days.
Well, for what it's worth, that's not what I was thinking of. I just remember the Daimler wooden motorcycle that I think there's a replica of at the Barber Museum, and many of you listeners and viewers may have seen a photo of before. It's a sort of weird rickety looking thing with this like crazy U-shaped leather saddle, and it has the little training wheels on it. I think it's like not even really a 2-wheel vehicle, but I that's often cited as the first motorcycle made, even though that's disputed also. And I believe it was your old Gottlieb Daimler, I think, who did that. I'm not sure. Anyway, so Germany. That's why I went with Germany, because I thought of that bike. But the truth is, I got pretty lucky with that one.
Now, I was thinking more along the lines of like within the question was like the mass produced, like, you know, and I guess I was
commercially
thinking
viable.
Commercially
exactly.
viable.
That was a really tricky aspect of that question.
Yeah. Like what defines commercially viable, right?
Well, Mark Gardner defines it. So I
exactly.
guess
I'm not debating. I'm very disappointed in myself because now Zach has the lead and I'm already in a disadvantage.
Yeah, there we are. Round 1. Zach Kortz 1, Spurgeon Dunbar 0. You guys ready to...
I'm having fun. This is great. As long as I'm winning, I'm having a great time.
I want to know. I'm interested to see how many people are listening to this, screaming at their radios right now that they either got it right or got it wrong. And I look forward to all the emails that we come in.
Screaming at their radios like it's a 1940s war broadcast. They're like, "Come on, Spurgeon, you can do it." All right, you guys ready to move on to question number 2?
Ready.
Couldn't be less ready. Yes.
Okay, here we go. Question number 2. Indian Motorcycle is the oldest American motorcycle brand still in production. Since its creation in 1902, how many times has the trademark changed hands?
Whoa.
Like a French.
Wow, Spurgeon, this is a family program. No need
So
to talk
again,
about
we are talking about Indian motorcycles.
Glad you brought it
Just
back
to be
around,
clear. And since the creation of Indian motorcycles in 1902, how many times has that brand trademark changed hands?
God.
And of course, have an option to answer this without any of the multiple choice answers being presented. I would be very surprised.
I feel the same way about this question as I did about the last one. Like, it's going to be like A3, B4, C7, and I'm going to be like, I don't know, it's a number. So I could guess, but I'm not going to risk losing a point. So I'm waiting for multiple choice.
Me too.
Okay, well, here are your multiple choice options. Is it A, 5 times, B, 8 times, C, 12 times, D, 18 times? Again, that is A5, B8, C12, or D18.
In my experience of working in the motorcycle industry, oh man.
Can you repeat it? It's A5,
B8, C12, D18.
Man, I didn't think it was that many, but the fact that the numbers are going up so high.
And remember, you do have your lifelines available. Sure, it's early on in the game, but
It's way early. It's way early in the game, man. Like,
we don't know if the questions get easier or more difficult. It's
If they get more
impossible
difficult
to
than
say.
If they get more difficult than this, I'm in real trouble. Okay, I have my answer ready. I'm not confident, but I have one.
yeah, for the audience that's listening at home, I knew that they changed hands a handful of times, but 18, that sounds very high. All right.
For
well,
the audience at
guess
home,
is D18.
for the audience at home that can hear Spurgeon's heartbeat through the microphone right now.
all right, I got my answer written down.
Okay.
I changed it. If what I changed it from is this is like the SATs, right? Like now I feel like I should go back and put down my first pick of an answer. Son of a. I'm
well,
not ready.
let's-
I'm not.
Okay. Oh, come on. Don't drag it out here.
I'm not trying to drag it out. I'm just second guessing myself here.
So am I.
All right, fine.
So-
all right. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay, he's ready. Bringing it back around. All right, when I say go, please present your answers. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Wow. Both Zack and Spurgeon have selected A. That is 5 times. Both Zack and Spurgeon, motorcycle journalists and experts, believe that since its creation in 1902, over 100 years ago, Indian Motorcycles has changed trademark 5 times.
Before you give the answer, I just want you to know that I originally had B, which was 8, and then I switched it to A, because in my head, before you read any of the options, I was thinking 3 to 5 times. So then when you said 5, I was like, oh, 5. But then you went all the way up to 18, and I was like, 5 might not be enough. So,
All right. Drum roll. What's the answer?
The correct answer to the number of trademark changes since 1902 is D, 18 times.
Whoa.
Wow.
Not even close. You guys were not even close.
So I had a couple problems with this question. One, I had no idea, obviously. But two, the biggest problem I had was that I don't know what changed trademark means. What does that?
Well,
Zach,
somebody bought the name. Somebody bought and purchased.
Is that what
the
that
name
means?
Indian.
That someone bought the name, or does it mean does the trademark changed hands, or the trademark was changed?
No. The trademark changed hands as the question was written. But let me give you a little bit of background. Fun fact, the trademark was sold at least 8 times between 1970 and 1992 alone. George Hendy first trademarked the American Indian name around 1897 for the bicycles he produced. He would begin making motorcycles in around 1900. There are also plenty of interesting shifts in ownership, including Derby Motor Corp, which owned the trademark for 1 day. Who knows what happened there? I do not. Also, a man named Phil Zhang or Zhang. A man named Phil seems to have sold it to himself twice, and of course, ownership continued to shift until they were acquired by Polaris in 2010, as it continues today.
Okay. Well, it's quite a story. Quite a story. I don't feel nearly as bad, considering what's his toes sold it to himself 3 times. Like, what are we doing?
Phil was an industrious fella. You know, he had some tax write-offs he was working on, and
he was evidently not as efficient on the toilet as Spurgeon Dunbar because he was just passing trademarks from himself to himself while he.
Well, you guys are keeping the math easy. Nobody got a point there, so it is still Zack Quartz 1, Spurgeon Dunbar 0 as we head into question 3.
I feel like there should have been a bonus question of like we could have gotten a point if we would have been able to say who owns it now, because I'm pretty sure Zach and I both would have gotten that one correct.
Yeah,
maybe. In other words, if the questions were easier, maybe we would.
Exactly, that's what I'm going for. Yeah,
yeah. We'll work on that. We'll work on that for next time for sure. I think that'd be super fun.
Are going to go from hardest to easiest, and that's how this is set up.
Well, I just hope that everybody at home listening is learning something from
that's the whole
this
point
education.
Here.
Yeah,
I know I am. I learned about Phil. Anyway, question 3.
Question 3. I like your guys' chances on question 3. I think this is going to be a little bit more in your wheelhouse. Question 3
that makes me feel less comfortable for what it's worth.
You'd have to be an idiot to get question number 3 wrong. Question number 3 is, which one of these models was the inspiration for NASA's lunar motorcycle? And I do believe there's been an article on Common Shred about this.
What?
So does Spurgeon Dunbar or Zack Quartz read the very website where they publish
Oh my God, you
this?
Fucking asshole. Just shut the hell up and read the question.
Again, the question is, which one of these models, so if you would like to guess before I present them, which model was the inspiration for NASA's lunar motorcycle?
Are we allowed to ask follow-up questions? Was the lunar motorcycle ever produced?
Which one of these models was the inspiration for NASA's lunar motorcycle?
I'm so tempted.
I feel
to
like
guess,
this was a recent article too. I don't feel like this was something that was a long time ago. And for the audience, Zach and I sit in a Common Shred meeting every single Monday. So not only do we read Common Shred regularly, but we sit in a meeting where all of this is discussed, and it just goes to show that maybe we're not paying attention in our work meetings the way we should.
Yeah, apparently. I can't bring myself to take a guess. Too scared of losing the point, the sole point that I'm clinging to. I can't risk that. I could guess, and that would be fun, but I got to wait for multiple choice.
All right, you too, Spurge?
Same. Yeah, I'm going to wait for multiple choice.
All right, well, I am happy to present...
Actually, no, Go ahead. Never mind.
Okay, all right. Thought we had a little glimmer of hope there, but I will present the 4 options. Again, the question is, which of these models was the inspiration for NASA's lunar motorcycle? Was it A, Honda Z50 Monkey, B, Honda CT90, C, Honda Grom, D, Harley-Davidson X90? Again,
you broke up a little bit there. What was the last one?
The last one was Harley-Davidson X90. So that's A, Z50, B, CT90, C, Grom, D, Honda or Harley-Davidson X90. If you were in charge of NASA, which of those bikes would have inspired you
to ride on the moon? I have my.
What was the first one? One more time.
A was a Honda Z50.
The original Z50.
The information I have is Honda Z50. Or B, Honda CT90, C, Honda Grom, D, HD X90. Would you ride a Harley-Davidson on the moon?
I am... You know what? Here's the deal. I am contemplating using my Lance phone call, not because I think Lance would know the answer to every single one of these, but if he's going to know the answer to any one of them specifically, I feel like this would be the one.
Is that your... Oh, Zach, go ahead.
Well, maybe I'm misremembering the pre-production meeting we had about this, but I believe when you show your answer is when you decide whether or not you're going to use your Silver Fox lifeline. Is that correct?
No, I thought we have to use the lifeline before we choose our answer.
Well, the way it will work is, Spurgeon, if you would like to, and you can discuss this, of course. If you would like to, we're making this up in real time. If you would like to use your lifeline, you will just write on your whiteboard Silver Fox. And so when you guys present your answers, I will see, and that's to sort of
Like this.
Oh, wow. So for those listening, Zach just brought his whiteboard into frame, which says Silver Fox. So great minds.
Damn it.
But now, Spurgeon, Zach really just showed his hand, because if you can get it without using your lifeline, you will have an extra lifeline that Zach is no longer going to have in his possession.
But to be clear to everyone, when I get the Silver Fox lifeline, you as the audience will hear it. Spurgeon will not.
Correct.
So I didn't just donate it to everyone. I'm the only one that gets my lifeline.
But here's what I'm thinking too. From a producer standpoint for the show, it would be more entertaining for the audience if I don't pick the Silver Fox, because they'll get to hear the Silver Fox again. So I am going to sacrifice knowing that I'm going to get the right answer, and I'm going to write something down on my board right now. Fudge, I just am still not sure. Is there a way that they can play the Silver Fox clip for Zach while I sit here and rack my brain over?
No,
we're going to wait on you. And from a producer standpoint, we are very much waiting on you. Let's keep it moving here.
Okay. Well, Spurgeon taking my job here. Spurgeon has selected A, which is the Honda Z50. Zach has opted to get some feedback from Lance. Silver Fox Oliver. Okay, so pens down. What we do now is, Zach, you should have a audio file, a recorded line and answer from Lance Oliver giving you his answer to which of these models was the inspiration for NASA's lunar motorcycle.
Listening now.
This is really embarrassing because I should know this, because we ran an article about this on Common Tread years ago. Shockingly, after the how many thousands of articles we've written on Common Tread, I no longer have them all memorized. But I think it was the monkey, so I'm going to go with that.
The monkey wasn't even an option, was it?
That's amazing.
I can't believe you stabbed me in the back like that, Lance. I thought for sure this story has been on Common Tread. Lance was going to say, well, I remember this because we did a story and it was the Harley-Davidson X90. And instead he was like, I don't know.
I'm so glad I didn't waste my lifeline on this one. I figured he remembers, we will be in Common Tread meetings and Lance will be like, we wrote an article about that 8 years ago in August, on August 13th. Like, I can't believe he doesn't remember.
Oh my God. Okay.
Breaking news. Nobody who works for Common Tread knows what is on Common Tread.
All right. So he said he thinks it's the monkey, which, to be clear, the answers again were, Spencer, please read them.
The options are A, Honda Z50 monkey, B, Honda CT90, C, Honda Grom, D, HD X90.
Okay, well, I wanted to say either CT90 or Honda X90, or Harley X90, because it feels like NASA using an American motorcycle. And I'm imagining when the moon program was really like popping off in the 60s, like very patriotic. I'm thinking, okay, maybe Harley. But then, like, do I go against Lance and then get it wrong? That seems like I'm never going to forgive myself if that's the case. And I can throw him under the bus if I use his answer and I get it wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you already used your lifeline on him. You might as well use his answer too.
Okay, so it was A, Honda Z50 monkey. Was that right?
Yes.
Correct.
And that's what Spurgeon guessed?
I can't tell you that anymore. You had a chance to see it, and now you don't get to see it again.
Yes, that's correct.
That's what Spurgeon guessed. Okay.
That is what Spurgeon has also guessed.
All right. This is an absolute disaster.
All right. So again, please, both of you, will you present your answers? Zach Kortz going with A, Honda Z50 monkey. Spurgeon Dunbar going with A, Honda Z50 monkey. And the fun thing here is,
we're both wrong.
Would you like to know the correct answer? Because it is A, Honda Z50 monkey.
Right. Thank you, Lance. Thank you for almost nothing, but you did help me out in the end, because I definitely didn't trust Spurgeon's instinct on that one.
A little bit of background for the two of you who did not read this article on Common Tread or read Mark Gardner's trivia book, apparently. Engineers at the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston started with a stock Honda CT90, but due to the moon's 1/6 gravity, a motorcycle would have to lean much further to turn. I don't really know exactly what that means, but that's the information that I have in front of me.
There's all that traction in that moon dust, you know?
So then they decided to try an electric, fat-tired mini bike with the proportions of the Honda Z50 Monkey. The prototype had a 10-pound, 5/8 horsepower motor with a 30-hour battery life. It was functional and considered for the Apollo 15 mission in 1971, but was killed off when Boeing and GM developed the Rover ahead of schedule. So this did not actually make it to the moon. It was just an idea that they were kicking around.
Well,
Right, fair enough. Well, that's interesting. I'm surprised. I guess I'm not surprised to go with the fat tire concept. For those of you who don't know what a Z50 Monkey looks like, or what it's sort of a Honda Monkey in general, it does have sort of wider tires. I feel like that makes sense for the moon. Are we agreed there? For the old moon dust?
I do have a note in my little cheat sheet over here that says, with less gravity, a wider wheel is helpful. So,
well, there you go.
All right.
Zack Spurg, going to the moon.
So if my math is correct, Zack has 2 points. I have 1 point, but Zack is down a lifeline, and I still have 2 lifelines to use.
That
True
is
enough.
correct.
True enough.
And here we go, rolling into question number 4. Are you both ready?
No,
Yes.
hold on. I got to erase my board. Yep, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Not delaying the
All
program
right.
anymore.
Question number 4. Legendary stunt person Evel Knievel was actually a semi-professional athlete in what sport? Legendary stunt person Evel Knievel, known for jumping over the Caesar's Palace fountains and breaking every bone in his body, was actually a semi-professional athlete in what sport? And to be clear, it's not motorcycle racing. Something other than motorcycle racing. Evel Knievel was a semi-professional.
I'm going to say
Women's field
bowling,
hockey.
but I'm not going to make that guess ahead of time. I want the options.
Same. I need options. I can't guess it ahead of time.
All right, here we go. The options for Evel Knievel's semi-professional athlete in what sport are A, billiards, B, football, C, hockey, or D, soccer. Or football if you live outside of America.
Football.
You
But
can't
the
say
other
football.
football.
Twice. Don't confuse
Football
us.
with a U.
We don't need to be any more confused than we
Is
already
it B,
are.
football, or
C,
D,
football,
football?
or D, football. Okie doke. Okay, so A, billiards, B,
Football.
football, C, hockey,
Hockey.
D, soccer.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
What is a man who spends most of his life jumping over canyons and buildings and buses? What else does he do?
A, billiards, B, football, C, hockey, D, soccer.
That is correct.
I have no
Or
idea.
E, he was semi-professional in all of the above. Just kidding.
You still do have lifelines as a
I
reminder.
know, but we're only on question 4. And
Most people have stopped listening at this point, so we should might as well hold on to them for later. Okay, all right. I have my answer ready.
I'm working on it. I'm gonna just give another answer out. I'm ready to flip around when Zack is.
Okay.
All right, here we go. When I say present, please do so. 3, 2, 1, present. We have is that
interesting.
C, hockey from both people. Very interesting. Well, since you did not use your lifeline, and I don't know if this is against the rules, but I think I'm making up the rules so I can do whatever I want. I will have you know that as you two chose C, hockey, if you had used your Lance Oliver Silver Fox lifeline, he would have said B, football.
Should we play that for the audience just so we can hear Lance's answer?
Just for fun, why don't we hear what Spurge and Zack would have been told by Lance Silver Fox Oliver had they used, well, Zack doesn't have a lifeline. If Spurge had used his lifeline, this is what Lance would have said.
Why do I not know this. There isn't a none of the above, is there? That's probably wrong, but I guess I'm going to go with football. Well, first of all, because I have no clue. And second of all, I was trying to remember where he's from. I mean, it's not like I think he's, came from Canada or someplace where they'd be more likely to play hockey. And soccer was not a huge sport back when he was a young man in the United States. So that's why I sort of narrowed it down, but who knows?
Well, glad I didn't, or I should say Spurge is glad he didn't use the lifeline for that either.
I was actually thinking, I wonder if he's Canadian and it's hockey. And Lance's response is, I don't think he's Canadian, so it wouldn't be hockey. So Lance and I were both trying to equate Canada and hockey. All right,
okay.
so...
All right, here we go.
Although I do think for future, and Spencer, I'm not going to step on your toes because you're making up the rules here. But after it's done, if we haven't used a lifeline, it would be fun to hear what Lance says. I think it's adding a little bit of humor to the program.
Yeah, well, in this situation, the sport that legendary stunt person Evel Knievel was actually a semi-professional athlete in. The correct answer is... C, hockey.
All right.
Ooh.
Wow. And
well
we flew
done.
in the face of Lance Oliver as well. That feels extra juicy.
Yeah.
I have to say, I don't know about you, Spurge, but my thinking was if a dude is okay smashing himself up,
100%.
then like hockey in the whatever 50s, 60s, 70s, whenever it was that he played, that makes the most sense.
That's where my mind went, and I was thinking like football too, but there's a little bit too much coordination and organization for football, and you're not allowed to just throw your gloves down and punch somebody else in the face.
It's not ice chaos.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. Well, for a little bit of additional seasoning on this historical fact, the first note that I have from our producer and from, I believe, the trivia book is, I don't know if this one's a fact or if this is just speculation, but I like it a lot. It says, though Evel may have opted against it, most of his teammates wore full padding, which I guess I like the idea of him not using any padding and being like, I'm not breaking enough bones here. What else do they got?
Right. Exactly.
But yes, indeed, Evel Knievel was a semi-pro hockey player. And I have here, with a natural gift for promotion, Robert Craig Knievel arranged for his hockey team to play a demonstration game against the Czech national team. However, Knievel left the game early after being ejected.
Probably for trying to punch a
somebody up.
Czechoslovak.
Yeah.
Right, for not wearing any pads and starting fights. All right.
Well, that's fun. That's fun trivia. I'm having a grand old time, and not just because I'm winning.
I'm telling
But
you.
I am winning 3-2, just to be clear.
Yeah, but you're also down a lifeline, and I keep sailing along. So
Based on how useful the lifelines have been.
I don't know. It gave you your answer. You used his lifeline for
That's
yours.
true.
That
You're
was the
not
correct
wrong.
pick.
He did guide me correctly in the end. Okay.
Can I
All
ask?
right.
I just want to ask one clarifying question too that I'm still fuzzy on, and this is just more. It speaks more volumes to my lack of understanding on things. If we have two lifelines, can we pick Lance Oliver both times, or do we have to use Lance once and then
Good
the 50-50
question.
once?
No, that is a single-use Silver Fox lifeline. So, yep. Unfortunately, no more Silver Fox for you, Spurge. No. You do.
No.
Zach doesn't.
Yeah.
Unless I decide you don't get it anymore, because I think I can do that.
Stop.
No, Spurgeon has all of his lifelines. Zach has just the one, but Zach has the 1 point lead. So here we go. Question number 5. This is a tough one. I did not know this, and that means it must be very tough. So question number 5. In 2007, several big cities in what country banned motorcycle riding completely? In 2007, several big cities in what country banned motorcycle riding completely? And you do have the opportunity to guess without any of the multiple choice options being presented for double or less than nothing.
For those of you listening at home, Zach and I haven't frozen up. We're just completely silent because we have no idea.
Correct. Yeah, I need a multiple choice. I need it. Give it to me.
Yeah, me too.
Spurgeon, you as well? Okay. All right. The possible answers for several big cities in what country banned motorcycle riding completely are A, China, B, Guatemala, C, Japan, D, Sweden. Again, those answers are A, China, B, Guatemala, C, Japan, D, Sweden?
Oof. I'm struggling.
Not that long ago this occurred. This
Yeah,
is just
I
2007.
know. But, right, true.
Where were you in 2007 when these
15
motorcycles
years
were being banned?
Not reading. Oh, this isn't a Common Tread story, was it? I also wasn't reading Common Tread then.
I don't think this, well, to my knowledge, this was not a Common Tread story.
No,
but
fair enough. Well,
again, you have your lifelines. You can opt to do 50-50 and have 2 of the incorrect answers removed. Or Spurgeon, you, in addition to that, could ask for the Lance Oliver clue. But you seem confident over there.
I mean, Common Tread wasn't founded until 2013, so this wouldn't have been a Common Tread story. But that being said,
a little Common Tread trivia there.
yeah, that being said, Lance Oliver was deep in motorcycle journalism way before Common Tread was founded. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip mine around while Zach is still writing.
Saved by the Silver Fox. Save me, Lance. That's what Spurgeon's whiteboard says. Saved by the Silver Fox, save me, Lance. And for the record, you guys are supposed to present your answers at the same time.
That we are.
If you fail to follow that rule again, you will be banned for life.
Sorry.
Spurgeon has lowered his board, so it's all good. Zach, do you know what your answer is?
Well, it's not Saved by the Silver Fox because I already used that lifeline. So I do not know what my answer is. I am between 2, and I guess I should just write one down since I'm just kind of stalling, and I can go with my gut, which was one of the answers I thought of before I heard the multiple choice. The other one was a total dark horse, but kind of makes sense. Okay, and I'm currently writing this down, not stalling at all, definitely not, just writing it down so that I have it. And I'm ready to display my answer.
Okay. Let's see those answers on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Interesting. We have B, Guatemala, from Zachary Coates, and Spurgeon Dunbar.
I erased my board, but I wrote Silver Fox again.
Oh, okay, that's your ban has been lifted.
Nailed it.
Okay, so Zach would like some feedback from one Lance Oliver.
No, Spurgeon wants feedback from what Lance Oliver.
Well, I'm sure Zach wants it too. But Spurgeon would like feedback from Lance Oliver. Zach is locked in with B, Guatemala. Let's hear what Lance has to say.
I'm going to say Guatemala. I know that there were, I don't know particularly about Guatemala, but I know that there were other cities in Latin America that at least for some time had restrictions on motorcycles, or perhaps motorcycles with passengers, because so many criminals were using them for assassinations and robberies and stuff. Because it was a great getaway vehicle in crowded, congested areas. So I'm just guessing if it was for that reason, then I would go with the Latin American city.
All right.
Okay.
Well, here's something that's a bit of a trivia for those of you that might not know this about Lance Oliver. Lance Oliver has lived in both Puerto Rico, but also Costa Rica. So he is very familiar with Central and Latin America. He is a Spanish to English translator. That's what he was actually doing before he started in the motorcycle industry, and he still dabbles in that today. So I'm gonna trust Lance on this one, and I'm gonna go with B, Guatemala.
Okay, so both Spurge and Zach have selected B, Guatemala, as the answer to the question, several big cities in what country banned motorcycle riding completely in 2007. The correct answer of this question is A, China.
And here's why I almost went with that, was that the clue said several big cities. And I thought, are there several big cities in Guatemala? Son of a gun. Here's what I want to know about China.
You Lance. Damn it.
You did it for the last time. I would like to know, are these gasoline-powered motorcycles only that were banned? Or all two-wheeled motored vehicles that were banned?
The information I have is that several big cities in China banned motorcycle riding completely. But a little more background. is that in 2007, hundreds of thousands of motorcycle owners in China were forced to either sell their bikes to folks in the countryside, usually at a big loss, or turn them into the police for a token payment of some kind. Now, there's been some feedback that these decisions were made without a lot of explanation, but one of the reasons that officials cite is a rash of purse snatching and strong arm robberies in which motorcycles have been the getaway vehicles. And to the credit of Lance and to the credit of Spurg and Zack here, I saw in some of my extracurricular research that Guatemala did actually, for a period of time, and I don't know if that's still in effect, Guatemala did ban passengers on motorcycles for the same reason. So you were only allowed to have one person on a motorcycle in Guatemala, so because they had passengers on the back that were snatching purses and committing the crimes.
Right, doing the crimes. Dang. Well, it's interesting that because the reason I went with Guatemala was I had a tickle in my brain about this sort of like crime. The whole idea that there were good getaway vehicles and there were sort of muggings happening and that kind of thing. And then for China, I couldn't quite figure it out. I was kind of like, I think I remember there being intercity bans on combustion vehicles for emissions reasons and for smog and pollution, that kind of thing. But then I thought, like, technically I think electric motorcycles are legal in those city centers in China. So like that wouldn't be a motorcycle ban. It would just be a combustion ban. And the question would have been phrased differently. So it's interesting that I think it's interesting that I went with the sort of reasoning that I thought, purse snatching. And I thought I remembered that from Central America, which Lance did as well. And then it turns out it was the same reason, just a different country. Very intriguing.
I went with Guatemala because I trusted Lance, and I will not
Just
make
for the last
that
time.
mistake. I will not make that mistake again.
Well, it continues to be neck and neck. We are halfway through our questions, and I think that we probably are due for a break and a word from the sponsor of the show. Alrighty, welcome back to the Highside Lowside Trivia Challenge, where we are about halfway through our 10 questions, our trivia showdown between Zack Quartz and Spurgeon Dunbar, where Zack is holding on to a razor's edge lead of 1 point. It is currently 3-2.
And we both have used our Lance Oliver lifeline. Is that correct?
There will be no more Lance Silver Fox Oliver assistance from here out. We may listen to some of Lance's answers just for fun, but you will not actually be able to use it in order to help guide your answers.
Can I ask one question before we get started again? What if, because Zack and I used both of our Lance Oliver lifelines, what if, for fun, now you just give us both the Lance Oliver lifelines as part of our guessing experience?
That is not going to happen. But thanks for playing. And you keep the suggestions coming.
I would like to say that I think Lance should be very flattered that during the first half of the showdown, we each reached for his advice first instead of having answers removed or anything like that. We wanted to know what he had to say.
And half of the time he rewarded us with a correct answer, and the other half of the time he screwed one of us.
Well, as a reminder to the audience, the other lifeline is 50-50, where 2 of the incorrect answers will be pulled away. So you're basically, on each question, you thought Lance had a better than 50% chance of getting it correct. And about half of those times you were right. So I guess that's worth something. But moving on.
50% of the time it works part of the time.
Yep. Oh, and we actually have some live feedback from Lance from producer Chase, or by way of producer Chase, where Lance is now up to speed on how helpful or not helpful he was. And Lance said, quote, "I should have known Guatemala was wrong. I did remember it happening in Bogota, Colombia, so I thought it was possible. This is just another great example of Spurgeon trusting me too much." In his own words. But moving on, here we go. Question number 6, getting into the second half of the questions here. Question number 6 is, before Suzuki became a prolific name in motorcycling, they started out in what industry? Before Suzuki became a prolific name in motorcycling, they started out in what industry?
I know this.
Wow.
I know this.
So Spurgeon, it sounds like you're going to be going for the double or less than nothing option, which is before being presented with any answers, you're going to write your answer down and then put your hands in the air so that we ensure you do not change your answer later. Incredible. Zack, what do you think?
No, I can't do it. Can do it.
Mm.
If it were other companies, I would know. If it were Ducati, I would know. But I don't. But it's Suzuki, and I don't know.
All right. Well, Zach, are you ready for your 4 options?
I'm ready. God, I hope none of them are what Spurgeon wrote down.
I really hope that I'm. This is a long shot, but I'm going to take a chance.
I love that you're taking this. I love the double or almost nothing. I've been champing at the bit to use it, but I haven't had the knowledge in my brain. So.
I just have to try and get ahead of you at some point, and this is
I know.
like,
I love
this is
it.
like
I love
the
it. It's a
inside
bold move.
pass. Yeah.
Yep, you need that. But let's see how it works out for Spurgeon, because the answers that you have as an option, Zach, to the question, before Suzuki became a prolific name in motorcycling, they started out in what industry? Was it A, aeronautics, B, farming equipment, C, radios, or D, silk? Again, the options are A, aeronautics, B, farming equipment, C, radios, D, silk, and Spurgeon is very silent over there.
I don't have those exact things written down on my board, but I am hoping that the host will read what I have written down and interpret that in a way that benefits me.
You hope the benevolent leader of this trivia challenge will bestow upon you correct answer.
The very handsome, charming host of the show may find it.
I don't know if I've told you yet, but your turtleneck looks fantastic.
There we go. All right. Okay.
So
I hope this doesn't end the way. Like if I was actually on a track with Zach trying to pull off an inside pass, he'd smoke the shit out of me. So I'm hoping this doesn't end as badly as real life would.
You said
Zach?
out.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was A, aeronautics, B, farm equipment, C, radios, D, silk.
Correct.
Those are the
And
options.
Spurgeon's answer is locked in, so you can work your way through it.
And Spurgeon's answer is like clothing, and he's going to be like, "You guys, silk is clothing sometimes." Anyway, I would like to point out that
silk is clothing sometimes. What else do you use silk for?
Well,
Coffin linings,
that's
like
for me to know and for you to find out, sir. I think I would like to say that Mr. Mark Gardner read my mind in some ways, because C, radios would be the correct answer if this question were about Ducati. I would like to just say, and I think he threw that in there as a little red herring, if that's the right term. And if you're wondering if I'm stalling about what
So Zach knows about the origin of Ducati, but does he know about the origin of Suzuki?
He does not, but he's got to put an answer down. And I really don't think 50-50 is going to help me here. So.
What are you leaning towards right now?
Oh, right, because Spurgeon can't. So
no,
Spurgeon's like, I can
stop it. Stop helping him. Write down a number or a letter or.
I'm
something.
leaning towards farm equipment. I've got a weird, maybe it was a dream, maybe it was a nightmare, but I've got a weird like vignette memory of a tractor with Suzuki written on the side. I don't know if I'm just like playing with myself here, but that's
well, the important thing is it is a podcast, so if you are playing with yourself, no one can see it because they're listening on the radio.
Okay, well, Zach has presented his final answer, and he's going with B, farming equipment, and Spurgeon has 3 answers that he wrote down for double or less than nothing, which is textile looms mills. 3 answers, none of which were the answers being presented on our end. This is going to require some
interpretation.
Yes, some interpretation. So the correct answer, before Suzuki became a prolific name in motorcycling, they started out in what industry? The industry that Suzuki started out in is D, silk.
Oh, let the controversy begin.
Yes, and so hang on. Let me just, like, with the looms and the mills, like, I remember they were destroyed. And when they were destroyed, they decided not to rebuild in that industry. And then that's when they moved into motorcycling. So
Well,
Mills is pretty broad. So were they doing like oats, Spurgeon?
No,
also,
no,
or were
textile
were they,
mills.
Oh, yeah, so they were. They
I
were
live in
milling
Manayunk,
oats and
Pennsylvania.
textiles, and they were milling
Spencer
steel
just
and
came
like
to
whatever.
visit me at Christmas. We showed him the textile mills down on Main Street. They were mills for textile looms, and silk is a fabric that you would make in a.
Here's what I can tell you. Michio Suzuki formed Suzuki Loom Works in 1909. In the late 1930s, Michio and Michio, are we saying that right? Mr. Suzuki felt his company would benefit from another product line and funded R&D to produce several small car prototypes. Deemed, quote, non-essential during the war, Suzuki decided a cheaper mode of transportation made sense. His company sold bicycles equipped with a 36cc 1-horsepower motor, and the rest is history. So, I think considering that the company was literally called Suzuki Loom Works, I am going to allow D Silk, aka textile/loom/mills, as an acceptable answer.
Here's what I would like to say. I just Googled, is silk a textile? And the answer that came up on Google, which is never wrong, is the first sentence of the answer from soport.com is silk is the strongest natural textile in the world.
There we go. Okay.
I think we got to give it to Spurgeon. I'm sure he'll never.
I can't believe Zach is lobbying in my favor, because I don't know if I would have been as kind to do it to you. But yeah,
I think there was definitely room for some interpretation there, but I believe your answer was heartfelt, and you knew that you had the looms. You had I'm giving it to you. I like it.
I guess if I would have, I appreciate both of you, and if I would have picked something like. If I would have said radios, like clearly I was wrong, or aeronautics, I was wrong. But I feel like this is a good faith effort on my part that I knew that Suzuki was in textile production / looms and mills.
Very impressive.
I could have said aeronautics. And then when it was like silk was the answer, I'll be like, well, don't they use silk in parachutes or what? I mean, I don't know, aeronautics. So like. But I didn't.
So just so I'm clear, was there any so I'm 4 points now and Zach is 3 points?
That's right. It was double or less than nothing, and you got double. So you leapfrog Zach into the lead. That is now 4-3. Zach gets 0 points for that round as we go into question number 7.
Did we want to know if Lance got that right, or we don't care about that, Lance, for that one?
I can tell you that Lance's guess was D Silk, so that would have been helpful, but neither of you had that as an option. So Lance knew what was going on.
All right.
I would just like to say very quickly before we move on, I just Googled Suzuki tractor, and they exist. So I'm not nuts.
You're not right, but you're not nuts.
No.
Do you know when were they producing a tractor?
Exactly. I think that's the thing. I think I have seen a tractor with Suzuki on the side, but that was not before they started making motorcycles, which was the crucial part of the question. So I'm not saying that I was right by any means. I'm just saying I'm glad to know that I didn't have some sort of night terror about a Suzuki tractor, and that just stuck in my brain for some reason. They do exist.
All right. Well, I thank both of you for your leniency. Should it please the court of approvals? Thank you.
Yes.
Spurgeon taking the lead.
On the back of my and Zach's generosity, Spurgeon has taken the lead, and it was a good answer. I'll give you credit there, Spurgeon. But question number 7, I think is maybe one of the toughest questions in this entire trivia round. I'm just going to put that out there. Question number 7 is: few gun or motorcycle historians remember that for a brief time, this American gun manufacturer also sold motorcycles. Few gun or motorcycle historians remember that for a brief time, this American gun manufacturer also sold motorcycles. What is the name of the American gun manufacturer who also briefly sold motorcycles?
I feel...
He's drunk with double or less than nothing power.
He is.
I don't want to get cocky though and just like write down 4 different American gun manufacturers and be like, no, one of them was written down here. I'm gonna need the options on this.
Same. I mean, I can like name a gun company, which would be fun to get it right, but I can't risk it. I'm clinging on now. I'm in second place here. I got to do what I can do.
Well, the four possible answers are A, Beretta, B, Remington, C, Smith & Wesson, D, Winchester. One of those four, briefly, also produced a motorcycle.
Well, two of those were my guesses.
Yep. The four most famous gun manufacturers that I could think of. One of them is right. And, okay.
So you still do have your lifeline, but do not tell me if you want to use it. What you need to do is either write down your answer or your desire for a lifeline, and then when I ask you to present, you show me your answers, and we will take it from there.
Okay. Can you just read the options one more time, please?
The options are A, Beretta, B, Remington Arms, C, Smith & Wesson, D, Winchester. Are you ready to present?
Spurgeon is.
I am also prepared to rock.
All right, on go, please show your answers. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so Zach Quartz has gone with B, Remington. Spurgeon Dunbar has requested 50-50.
How the tides have turned. Zach blew through his Lance Oliver request before me, and now I feel like I don't know. I got a lead here. I want to try and maintain.
You think 50-50 is going to help you? Think like you're like, if two of them are removed, you're going to be like, nice. I know it was one of those two. Like, is that where you're at here? Because if so, you're operating on a much higher level than I am.
No, I just figured instead of like guessing blindly and having a quarter of a chance, I'd guess blindly and have half of a chance.
That's actually a good way to look at it. Okay. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be interesting because Zach, your answer is locked in with Remington, and the 50-50 options that we have are the correct answer is either Remington or Winchester.
I was thinking Winchester before this, but like that was like when I said I'm drunk. When you made the joke about me being drunk with the power,
the power. That's Well, it's funny. I was.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing down Winchester.
D. Winchester. Well, that's funny because my guess would have been Remington, and so when it came up on the list, I was like, well, I guess I'll just go with that because I don't have any reason to. I have no idea, but that was the one that popped into my head, so I guess I'll just go with that. But then I heard the name Winchester, and I was like, that does sound like a motorcycle. I don't know. It's got a motorcycle-y kind of name. So I gotta say, Spurge, I like your answer too.
I was guessing literally just because I think the old Winchester mansion has got all of this like lore, and it's like supposedly haunted, and there's all which has nothing to do with motorcycling. For what it's worth.
I thought you were going to pull out some nugget and I'd be like,
no.
I remember old Mr. Winchester was interested in bicycles, but he wanted them to go faster, and I was going to be like, man, that's good detail.
No.
But anyway,
I mean, it's just a guess at this point. Honestly, okay. I guess if I was being smart, I would have guessed B. Because that way, if Zach was right, we were both right, and we move ahead. And if Zach was wrong, we both.
I see.
That's good
playing
strategy.
Small ball
Good strategy.
already. Okay, fair enough.
Well,
I already wrote it down, so I feel
you
like
did. This makes it more exciting.
Yeah. Rolling the dice with a narrow lead, and so the answer is either B. Remington or D. Winchester. And the correct answer to which gun manufacturer also briefly sold motorcycles is D. Winchester. Spurgeon Dunbar.
Oh my God! Is anybody else's heart just pounding right now? This adrenaline is.
So Winchester was one of the first companies to embrace the idea of brand extension, contracting with other companies to supply, quote, Winchester branded products from baseballs to bikes. The Edwin F. Mary Company out of San Francisco supplied Winchester with 200 single-cylinder motorcycles similar to early Harley and Indian singles, and the cost was $160 for one of these Winchester bikes. However, only one of those motorcycles, only one Winchester motorcycle is known to have survived, and although the initial MSRP was $160, that bike sold for $580,000 in 2014.
Wow.
That's quite a return on investment. What is that in percent? Whatever.
180,000%.
Almost.
And that was
exactly.
that's pre-pandemic prices. Imagine, I mean, the used motorcycle market has taken a real spike in the past couple of years.
Well, so if you're
speaking of
listening, I was gonna say, if you're listening and you own that motorcycle, you let us know. All right, you submit that for the Rev Trivia, and you would almost certainly stump us.
Well, speaking of taking a spike, Spurgeon Dunbar has got a 5-3 lead. I gotta get my ducks in a row here.
How many questions do we have left?
You have 3 questions left. We are on question 8, so you have 8, 9, 10 to tie this up to even it out. Zach, you're in a bit of a hole. You got to dig deep here.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I don't know who's more nervous: me trying to keep a lead or Zach coming on the attack.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Let's
Well,
do it.
question number 8 is near and dear to my heart, one of my favorite movies of all time. The question is, this motorcyclist was director James Cameron's choice to play the villainous T-1000 robot in Terminator 2, but had to decline the role after a motorcycle accident in Los Angeles. So again, the question is, this motorcyclist was director James Cameron's choice to play the villainous T-1000 in Terminator 2, but had to decline after being in a motorcycle accident. Who was James Cameron's original choice for the T-1000? I think ended up being played by, was that Robert Patrick? I think was his name.
I'm just confused because I thought your favorite movie was The Little Mermaid, and
I said one of my favorite movies.
Oh, okay.
The late 80s, early 90s, they were just ripe with picks.
Okay, so there's a Hollywood motorcyclist that was James Cameron's pick to play the villainous T-100 in Terminator 2.
So not Arnold Schwarzenegger's part, the other guy.
Yes, Robert. I think his name was Robert Patrick. Robert Kirkpatrick. Robert Patrick. I think it's Robert Patrick. It doesn't matter. That guy. The guy. The smaller sort of liquid metal guy.
One of our coworkers met him at Sturgis Bike Rally. He's actually an avid motorcyclist in real life. Fun fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I have no idea. I know personally. I need the.
I'm
Yeah.
so.
I feel
I'm
like
so
I should know
tempted
this.
to go for it. I know. I live here in Tinseltown. Why don't I know this?
yeah, you guys
but
need help. You need help.
don't.
I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you your multiple choice options. The original choice for the T-1000 was either A, Billy Idol, B, Gary Busey, C, Sylvester Stallone, or D, Wesley Snipes. Again, that is A, Billy Idol, B, Gary Busey, C, Sylvester Stallone, D, Wesley Snipes.
So is it good that I didn't do the double or almost nothing then?
So for those listening, Zach just brought a whiteboard in that said Tom Cruise.
Well, babyface Tom Cruise. He can play a liquid metal guy.
Good.
Okay. So Busey, Sly, Billy Idol, or
Oh my
the
God.
last one.
Wesley Snipes.
Sniper, right. Wow, Spurge. How you doing over there? You feeling good? You feeling
Not
confident?
at all. Not at all. Not at all. I had to write something down because this is a podcast and this
Can you
awkward
read
silence.
the answers, the options one more time, please, Spencer?
Absolutely. So James Cameron's original choice to play the villainous T-1000 to go up against Arnold Schwarzenegger, was it A, Billy Idol, B, Gary Busey, C, Sylvester Stallone, or D, Wesley Snipes? Ended up being played by Robert Patrick, but originally had someone else in mind.
Everyone's favorite actor.
I just wrote the letter backwards by accident. That's completely on me.
Oh no, that counts. Sorry, automatic point to me. Very sorry. That's I think that's in the fine print of the competition.
Right, there.
I'm going to say that the thing that I wrote down is based on the way you just read that question, and I don't know if you're trying to give us a hint or if you're
Sweet
trying to
baby
steer us in the
Spencer.
wrong direction.
Right, that could
You
be.
can, Spurgeon, you can trust me.
No, I don't think I can. And
He just
I'm-
winked.
I know, but I feel like I changed my answer from what I was going to pick to what I put down based on the way that he just reread that question, and I feel like it's wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway.
In now.
Well, I've got good news for you. I feel like mine's wrong too, so let's do it.
Here we go. Show me your answers on go. 3, 2, 1, go. We've got, both of the boys are going with C, old Sly Stallone. That's who they think was James Cameron's original choice to play the villainous T-1000 and Terminator 2.
But it was the way you
Stallone.
said. It was the way you said. Go up against Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Face off against.
Because
Sure.
I was going Busey, and I'm like, Busey's kind of like a nut job drunk, but like.
Fact. This was 1991 or
I know,
so.
and then I can only picture the Busey mugshot that's all over the internet, and
right.
I don't know
the background of your phone.
Yeah.
Well, I think Busey would have been a good guess.
Busey's
I will have
my
you know.
number one guess.
I will have you know. I'm not saying this is correct or incorrect, but if you still had your Silver Fox lifeline, Lance Oliver's guess was
Should we
Gary
play it?
Busey.
Should we play it for the audience before we find out?
Having listened to it, I don't think the insight there is going to be beyond what you have already said.
Okay.
But I just want you to know that would have been Lance's guess. And
But Lance went with Busey.
Lance went with Busey, and I will also have you know. Well, I'll actually get to this afterwards because this is an interesting tidbit. But let's reveal the answer here. James Cameron's original choice to play the villainous T-1000 robot in Terminator 2 was none other than A. Billy Idol.
Ooh.
Billy Idol's
Swing and a
actually a little
miss.
bit more of a Robert Patrick looking person.
He is.
So
That-
that's where I should have gone with it. Ultimately, I didn't really care which way that answer went because I'm clinging to it. I'm down 2 points, and Spurgeon had the same guess I did, so I'm not going to make up any ground either way.
So
but I did learn something.
Yeah.
I was about to say to your guys' credit, but actually this is sort of evidence to suggest how incorrect you were. Sylvester Stallone is the only one in this group that, at least as far as I have been able to see, has not been in a somewhat famous motorcycle crash. So Billy Idol, Gary Busey, and Wesley Snipes have all pretty famously crashed motorcycles. So you guys picked the one guy who can keep it on 2 wheels. Or
That's
maybe
super
no
interesting.
wheels.
The only film that I remember Billy Idol being in was The Wedding Singer, with where he was
Right.
like the cameo role where he plays himself on the plane and pushes the drink cart, and then
Billy effing Idol.
yeah. Nobody talks to Billy Idol that way, and then the big Billy Idol fan comes up and like beats the hell. Yeah, so that's the only role that I can picture Billy Idol in, for what it's worth.
Well, the details are that Michael Albert Broad, a.k.a. Billy Idol, ran a stop sign in 1990, colliding with a car and suffering a broken leg that doctors were unsure could even be saved. Parentheses, he did end up keeping it. Idol went on to suffer another hairline fracture years later when he hit a truck tire lying on the road. So motorcycles and Billy Idol, not always a good mix. But both incorrect answers from our esteemed players here. That keeps the score the same. Spurgeon is still up by 2 as we roll in to question number 9.
And Zach
Home
still
stretch.
has a 50-50, right?
He does.
I do.
Okay.
Question number 9. What tire company was also manufacturing motorcycles until they were unofficially asked to cease motorcycle production to maintain their tire contract with Honda? What tire company was also manufacturing motorcycles until they were unofficially asked to cease motorcycle production in order to maintain their contract with Honda?
I think I know it.
So, Zach, it sounds like you might be going for double or less than nothing.
I think I have to. Especially being down 2 points this late in the game. I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to go for it.
I have no idea. Outside of trying to think of, like, this had to have been a long time ago. So it has to be a tire manufacturer that's been around. I need my So Zach's going to have to put his hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care.
Hands in the air, Zach. Zach's answer is already written on the whiteboard. We don't know what it is yet. Spurgeon doesn't know what it is, but Zach is locked in. He's confident. If Zach is correct, this will get him tied back up with Spurgeon going into the last round. So these are high stakes.
Heart rate
No,
super high.
not if I'm
Heart rate's super
correct
high.
too. If I'm correct too,
Oh,
I'm
true.
still 1 point ahead.
True. That's true. Yes.
I was not assuming that would be the outcome, but fair point. All right. The possible answers to the question of which tire company was also manufacturing motorcycles, and so they were unofficially asked to stop to maintain their contract with Honda. Is it A, Bridgestone, B, Michelin, C, Toyo, D, Yokohama? Again, those are A, Bridgestone, B, Michelin, C, Toyo, D, Yokohama.
Well, there's only one of those that I know made motorcycles. So I have my answer.
All right, Spurgeon has his answer. Zach's was locked in early. Any final thoughts, Zach?
I think it come from the same place as Spurgeon Dunbar. I know that there's one of those companies that did make motorcycles. I am a child of vintage road racing. I grew up with my dad racing old motorcycles, and I remember seeing this motorcycle raced around by some other person at the club, and it's burned into my memory. So I'm going with that, even though I don't know if it's right.
So one of your pick is one of the four written down?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, here we go. On go. Present your answer, please. 3, 2, 1, go. Both the boys have selected A, Bridgestone, as the company that was manufacturing motorcycles until Honda asked them to stop. And I'm just going to cut right to the chase because this is pretty satisfying. The correct answer is A, Bridgestone. Both of you are correct.
Yay. Wow.
So Zach knew it from road racing. I knew it from Peter Egan. Peter Egan had a Bridgestone 50. I think it might have been his first motorcycle. So,
all right.
Yeah, my love for Peter Egan has not failed me. You hear that, Lance Oliver? My love for Peter Egan has not failed me, like you have.
And neither of you knew it from Common Tread articles or a motorcycle trivia book. So just keeping track there. But what did
Lance say? Did Lance have anything interesting to say?
Lance has got to know this one.
Lance also correctly guessed Bridgestone. So that was across the board a solid Common Tread showing for the answer. And nice. For what it's worth, Bridgestone was founded in 1931 by Sojiro Ishibashi. The company is a play on the founder's name, Ishi being stone, Bashi being bridge. And after World War II, Bridgestone made bicycles and later bikes with clip-on motors. By the late 1950s, they were making small motorcycles. Officially, Bridgestone ceased motorcycle production in the 1960s in order to expand tire production and also to honor an unofficial request from Honda and I believe some pressure from the other Japanese manufacturers as well.
There we go.
Well done, boys. Mm-hmm. So going into the final question.
So I just to circle back there. Mr. Ishibashi, was it? Ishibashi's name means Stonebridge, basically, and named his company Bridgestone. I kind of like that. Just throwing it out there.
Nobody saw it coming.
Instead of a stone bridge, like what if we took one of the stones that you used to make the bridge, which would be a bridge stone? I like to imagine him doing that over a cup of coffee or something and being like, I've got it. Anyway,
if I think if I decide to start my own company, I think maybe Bardon would be the way that I would go. Now that I know this.
Yeah.
Everyone get in on the ground floor. Bardon, coming to you soon.
Bardon LLC. They do not manufacture anything except, whatever. We don't need
except a slight lead going into the last round.
There we go. Thank you.
All right. So this is the last question, correct?
The very last question for all the marbles for
six to five.
6 to 5.
We're doing better than I thought we were going to do. So for what it's worth, the fact that it's not like 1 and 2, I think is actually kind of rewarding.
This is true. This is great. Okay, you guys ready for the last question?
I'm ready.
Probably not.
Well, you don't have an option because here it comes. Question number 10. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is considered one of the most prolific motorcycling stories ever written? What record does it hold in the Guinness Book of World Records? It holds one record. What is it?
I'd be interested to know why Zach's reaction was that, because for
don't
those
like
of you
that
listening
book.
at home, you could Zach made a very heavy sigh and threw his hand over his eyes.
I didn't like it. I didn't finish it. I got partway through and I was like, I don't know what you're talking
I didn't
about,
like it
dude.
either.
Okay,
I thought it was a horrible book.
So I think the reason that I sighed and put my hand over my face was as soon as I realized that the question was going to be about this book, I thought, well, I didn't finish reading it, and I've never really liked it very much, so I don't like my chances of answering this question correctly. And that lack of confidence remains.
What I will say is I'm jealous that Zach still has a 50-50 lifeline, because I feel like that's going to work to his advantage. Two,
No, keep talking to me, Spurge. What do you got? What do you
no,
what are
no,
you thinking?
I was gonna say something, and you know what? I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna wait for the hints here. I want my options.
So the possible answers to what record does Zen and the motorcycle maintenance and the art of motorcycle maintenance hold? It is A, first philosophy book to become a bestseller. B, most publisher rejected book to become a bestseller. C, most Book Razzie awards in the history of that program.
What's a book Razzie?
Stay focused.
It's a we'll come back to that. D, most uses of the word motorcycle in a single book. So A, first philosophy book to become a bestseller. B, most rejections to become a bestseller. C, most Book Razzie awards. D, most uses of the word motorcycle in a single book. Now, Book Razzie Awards, similar to Movie Razzie Awards, it's an award show that rewards the sort of worst of. It'll be like worst author, worst novel, worst nonfiction, things like that. And it does not always reflect the actual quality in both movies and books. Sometimes those go on to become cult classics.
Have any Tom Cruise movies ever won a Razzie?
Oh yeah. Most recently,
oh yeah.
Most recently, The Mummy, I believe.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fair.
I thought that was Brendan Fraser.
That was the original. This was the new Mummy.
I didn't know there was a new
to
Mummy.
quote Zach Quartz, that's a whole other podcast.
True enough. Okay, well, I have my answer written down. Ready to go whenever.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Please show me your answers. 3, 2, 1, go. No surprise. Zach has gone for 50-50. Spurgeon has gone for answer A, which is first philosophy book to become a bestseller. Now, for 50-50, are you ready, Zach Quartz?
Yes.
And it's great because I had these pre-selected as the answers that I would remove. So,
I don't believe you.
So, the possible correct answers are, and I'm going to go backwards here, either D, most uses of the word motorcycle in a single book, or B, most publisher rejected book to become a bestseller.
Oh, wow. Okay, so just as a recap, it is 6-5. This is the final answer. Spurgeon's answer is wrong. He will not be scoring a point on this answer. I have gone 50-50. I have 2 options to choose from. If I choose correctly, I'll tie it up. If I don't choose correctly, Spurgeon wins the pressure.
That is correct.
Okay, so the 2 options are it's either the book that uses the word motorcycle the most, or it has the most publisher rejections of any book that's ever become a bestseller.
Correct.
This is brutal.
Either of
I
those
was
seem
gonna
like
guess-
viable picks.
They do. I was going to guess A, Spurge. I think that was a good guess. That was going to be my guess initially, but obviously I had to use 50-50 because, here we are at the end of the game.
Can you think of any other philosophy book? Like, I mean, it's just one of those.
Bible?
Maybe it's because of the circles that we run around in, but it's such a
Spurge is like, can you think of any other book that's been written?
yeah.
Name one other bestseller.
No, I'm just with
No, I
Zach.
think that-
This isn't a book. It's a book that I feel people throw out all the time, and it's just not one that really resonated with me.
I agree. So I'm torn here because the book that has received the most publisher rejections and then becomes a bestseller just seems like such a nebulous, difficult thing to track. Like how I don't know. Like how can you keep track of that? Is that something you can keep track of? And like, what a stupid record. But that's exactly the kind of thing that Guinness keeps track of, as far as I can tell, is stupid records. So it kind of fits. And then the thing about the most uses of the word motorcycle is I remember Mr. Persig calls it the cycle a lot. The cycle. As you can say, you'd have to maintain the cycle, and the cycle this and the cycle that. You must become one with the cycle.
Will you pick an answer?
Well,
Let's
all
go.
I'm saying is that motorcycle.
You're stalling. No, you're stalling. And now I'm starting to
Motorcycle
wonder if you're over there
specifically-
Googling. Are you Googling? Are you cheating?
Here are my hands. You see my
All right.
hands. I'm holding my little marker. He doesn't use the word motorcycle all that often. He uses the word cycle a lot.
All right, Zach, I'm
Still-
going to give you a 10-second countdown
Oh no!
to write your answer. What record does Zen in the art of motorcycle maintenance hold, according to Guinness? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
Before you say if that's correct or not, so Zach is holding up the letter B. That's the one that I was hoping he wasn't going to pick. Because
So
that
Zach-
was actually my second pick.
So that's
Zach
what you
has-
think is right.
I
Zach
think
has
that's
selected B, most publisher rejected book to become a bestseller, instead of the most uses of the word motorcycle in a single book. We know Spurgeon answered this incorrectly. He may have completely blown his lead, his precious small lead, and given Zach an opportunity to tie things up in the very last round. The correct answer, would you both like to know?
Yes.
Yes.
That's great. And here it comes. The record held by Zen in the art of motorcycle maintenance is B, most publisher rejected book to become a bestseller.
Don't call it a comeback, baby.
So here's the thing. You guys are tied up. We were not expecting this. Statistically, it was basically impossible.
Wow.
But this was not part of our original plan. Producer Chase has just dropped in an 11th question tiebreaker round lightning round. Okay?
Oh.
This is gonna be razzle dazzle, wham bam. Here it goes.
How
Very
does it- how does
quickly.
it work? Is it multiple
there a
choice?
Is there a Lance Oliver response to this?
Nope.
Did we get
there's
No,
not.
lifelines?
I'm gonna explain this. Okay. This is going to be multiple choice. You have 0 lifelines. There is not going to be an option of double or less than nothing. This is just the straight multiple choice, and it's going to be quick. So here it goes. The popularity of motocross in America is credited to one man, Edison Dye, thanks in part to what parent company allowing him to distribute bikes in the United States. So the popularity of motocross in America is credited to one man, Edison Dye, thanks in part to what company allowing him to distribute bikes in the United States. And the company options are A, Boltaco, B, Honda, C, Husqvarna, D, Suzuki.
I know the answer. I'm good. I'm ready to go whenever Zach is.
Oh my God. What? Can you read them again, please?
Sure. The company answers are A, Boltaco, B, Honda, C, Husqvarna, D, Suzuki.
I'm way too confident on this. I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna go down in flames because I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Because you're confident.
Yeah. And if
I'm
I'm
not confident. I have no idea, but I have my answer ready.
Okay, they're both ready. For all the marbles, please present your answers when I say go. Ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, they both selected C, making our job very difficult for having a tiebreaker. The popularity of motocross in America is credited to one man, Edison Dye, thanks in part to, they have said Husqvarna. And the correct answer is Husqvarna. So producer Chase has given us one more question, and I actually think
I wanted to. If we would have had the double or nothing for that one, I would have gone for it just for what it's worth. Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
I'm on the edge of my seat now. Oh.
Final question. For real, because it's tied and they can't separate, and you're really making us figure it out on the fly here. Final question. I guess you can double or nothing if you want on this round, just to give us a little more opportunity for separation. The question is, around 1910, in an effort to capitalize on motorcycle racing as a spectator sport, America developed a wildly dangerous, for racers and spectators, track called what? What is the name of the track?
Wait.
So around 19...
The actual name of the specific track?
The tracks... No. It's like the name of the sport / track. It's not like a specific facility, I will tell you that.
Oh, then I know the answer.
So do I.
Okay. Having fun.
Welcome to the world's longest podcast where Spurge and Zach go tit for tat.
Maybe it is the name of a facility. It's hard to say. Could go either way.
So we're both going double or nothing with the fact that we think that we have the right answer.
Right.
Is that correct?
And there could be some interpretation here of whose answer is more correct.
I do need the specific name, not the nickname or possible whoever is most correct here is going to win it all. So if someone says textile and another person says silk, silk is going to take the win.
Wait, should we then agree to hear the choices, Zach? Should we join together to hear the choices, or do we
back down?
No.
You want to split the pot like some kind of ninny? No way, man.
Oh no! Don't show your answer yet, Spurgeon. Don't you show it yet?
I'm not.
He's teasing the audience by showing us part of his whiteboard.
I'm trying to think if I can phrase it differently. Like, I think I know the answer, but I was trying to phrase. No, I guess I'm just going to leave it here. I don't know. Maybe if Spurge wins it, then credit to him.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So, the question for the audience one more time. Around 1910, in an effort to capitalize on motorcycle racing as a spectator sport, America developed a wildly dangerous, for racers and spectators, track called what? Please present your answers when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, okay. well, Zach and Spurgeon have put board track.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right or wrong, Spencer?
That is not correct.
Oh, man.
Oh, really?
The correct answer is motordrome. AKA murderdrome. And by 1910, motorcycles were capable of approaching 100 miles an hour, but most races were held on wide stretches of public roads, making it difficult for spectators to enjoy. Around that time, the French were holding bicycle races in velodromes, wooden tracks with very steep banking, and there were some industrious folks in Playa del Rey in 1910 that adapted this for motorcycles. By 1913, they had earned the name murderdromes due to the high amount of injury and death incurred by both riders and spectators. So
copy. And what were the tracks made of?
Wooden tracks.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
board track racing. So Zach and I are both correct, not wrong.
Well, not 100%. Okay. So producer Chase has decided. Final question, you guys, for real.
Lucky 13. Here we go.
Just really going off the rails.
I didn't think it was going to come this close for what it's worth.
Listen, Alex Trebek never had to deal with this sort of chaos.
No, he didn't. Their production team was really on point. Not
and you guys were getting all these questions wrong at the beginning, and now you're in lockstep. So this is not going to be multiple choice. This is just a question. You have to write it down on your board.
No.
I'm sorry.
I love this.
I'm sorry.
I love this. I love
sorry.
it. I hate this.
And the question is, who can get the closest, and this will be up to my determination, who can get the absolute closest to the specific year, make, model of Prince's Purple Rain motorcycle?
Oh my God.
Motorcycle
music question? Are you joking? I'm torched. There's no way I win this. Fixed, rigged. Rigged from the start. Rigged.
This question was selected by producer Chase, so please submit all complaints to...
The question was selected by producer Chase, for whom Spurgeon bought a coffee this morning. Big surprise. Big surprise.
That's not true. I did buy him a protein bar, though.
The final question, as a reminder, who can get absolutely closest to the year, make, model of Prince's famous Purple Rain motorcycle? We are scraping the bottom of the barrel of questions here.
I'm ready to go, for what it's worth. If you're listening at home, my answer is written down on the board. I'm ready to go.
Spurgeon's about to show us he has a tattoo of this bike on his chest. He's lifting his shirt. Spurgeon, put your shirt down. Jesus Christ.
I have no idea. And Spurgeon is like a music aficionado, so I'm boned here, but whatever.
Okay, well, for all the marbles, let's see if it plays into Spurgeon's hand or if his confidence will get the best of him. Reveal your answers on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, interesting. I can tell you neither of you are correct, but...
Oh, wait, it's a Kawasaki.
No.
It's a Kawasaki.
You can't just belt out answers.
Neither of you correct, but it is up to yours truly to select who is closest to the year, make, model of Prince's famous Purple Rain motorcycles. Please, can I see your questions again for the audience? The answers that your answers rather. The answers they went with, Zach said 1977 Harley Davidson Super Glide, and Spurgeon said 1982 Honda CX500. The correct answer is 1981 Honda CM400 Honda-matic.
All right, so I was right.
Well,
okay.
To be clear, you weren't right. You were
but I was
wrong.
pretty close.
But
Close.
you were closer than a 70s Harley, as guessed by Mr. Zach Kortz, which officially makes, who knows what the score is at this point, because we've just gone way up in the rafters. But I do believe that gives Spurgeon Dunbar a 1-point victory and the first official Highside Lowside Trivia Challenge victor.
You know, I would feel better about this if I would have gotten that correct. I feel like this is kind of a hollow victory at this point, because I was actually really confident that it was the Honda CX500. I don't know.
Just to be clear,
I'll take the win, but I'm not feeling good about it.
A Honda CX500 is a transverse liquid-cooled V-twin. It looks nothing like a Honda CM400 Honda-matic, which is an air-cooled parallel twin. So Spurgeon, from a motorcycling standpoint, gets very little credit, in my opinion. However,
did you see Prince's motorcycle in Purple Rain? It doesn't look exactly like a stock Honda.
Let me guess what color it is. You're going to tell me that next? Anyway, the point is, you were bound to win an album cover trivia contest, and I tip my cap. I'm very proud of my comeback to tie it up and send it to overtime, and I'll remain proud of that. But I've lost to the better man. So that's all.
What did we don't have Lance's answer? I was going to ask what Lance said on that one, but we don't have his
No,
answer. Lance is a big Prince fan, like huge closet Prince fan.
We were not expecting it to go into triple overtime, so the Silver Fox was not available for those last few answers. But job well done to the both of you. I think a fairly decent showing and a quality effort on the inaugural Highside Lowside Trivia Challenge. Now for the prize, and I'm sure you have been wondering.
Totally forgot about the prize. So did I. I was just playing for honor at that point.
Yeah, same. But it's convenient that it's located in Philadelphia. Again, rigged.
It is. I believe producer Chase can present to Spurgeon the official prize for being the winner of Highside Lowside Trivia
I'm afraid
Challenge.
of this. He's going behind. For what it's worth, if you're listening at home, he's walked behind the big studio, the big orange studio wall that we have, and there's no reason to go back there. The things that live behind that studio wall.
And the prize is a case of ramen noodles.
All right, let's see what we got. All right, so producer Chase is... What? Look at this.
Congratulations, Spurgeon Dunbar, for winning the first trophy.
It has my name on it already.
A trophy? No way!
But hang on. So, in fairness, producer Chase did have a Zack Kortz name tag written up as well. So it wasn't rigged. But look at the size of this thing. It's as big as my torso. Oh.
So that will become effectively the Stanley Cup of Highside Lowside Trivia Challenge.
Gotcha.
It will move around with the victor. I don't know if that's true. I just made that up, but that seems like that's what should happen.
That's what should happen. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna put this on my desk, and when Zach comes to visit me in Philadelphia, I'm gonna just set it on his desk to look at.
Brutal.
I'll bring this
Just
out next time
brutal.
I come out to California. I'll bring this with me too. I'll travel. Press launches, things like that.
Wow.
I'll just carry it with me.
Bragging rights and a trophy to go along with it. Congratulations,
Holy
Spurgeon.
cow.
And I believe from here forward, it is I relinquish my power as Lord of this podcast and game show host. And I do believe there's Rev Trivia still coming up, but that is on to the two of you. Thank you for letting me briefly.
Well, you're sticking around
play
because
this
you're
role.
here to play Rev Trivia with us. For
Right.
those of you listening at home, Rev Trivia, not to be confused with the Motorcycle Trivia Challenge, which is what we just played. Rev Trivia is the engine sound guessing game that we play every single episode, or at least we've played every single episode since the beginning of season 7. And this is where we are going to play a audio clip of a motorcycle engine, and you at home get to guess along. Spenser, our benevolent game show host, is going to play with us. Am I forgetting anything, Zach? Before we play,
I don't think so. We're going to listen to an engine start up. We're going to listen to it rev a few times and shut down. We're going to try to guess what the year, make, and model of the machine is. It would be very dissatisfying if Spenser just knew it right off the bat. So hopefully he'll twist in the wind a little bit, as we did for the past hour or so. Yeah, that's all you need to know. Let's, without further ado, let's listen to this engine and see if you know it. Shout it out if you know it.
It's hard for me to use my left hand for the mouse because I'm using my right hand to hold my trophy.
Yeah. I know it.
Wow. I hate this game. I like the old game. Let's
Yeah,
play
you
it.
like the other game better.
Chase, let's get some more trivia questions where I have the answers before they do.
When you're like, actually incorrect. NASA hired Evel Knievel to play hockey for the Russians in order to help Prince play a concert.
Spenser, do you have
in Red
guest
Square.
honors? I know that you don't have the answers written down in front of you, but I do see producer Chase typing something into his computer. So I swear to God, if he's slacking you the answer so that you have the advantage, I'm going to be so pissed.
No, guest
on,
honors.
Chase.
What do you hear? What do you hear, Spenser? You hear anything in particular? How many cylinders it has? That kind of thing?
I'm so bad about this. I'm terrible. I mean, the last time I was on the podcast and we played this game, it was the sound of a bike that I own, and I got it incorrect. A bike that I've owned for like 12 years.
To be fair, you don't ride that bike very often. So
I don't. Do you guys mind if I take another listen really quick?
oh,
here?
please, let's all take another listen. Yeah.
Yeah, let's take one more listen for the audience as well.
Good. I would just like to say, I've talked trash about the sound clips in the past, like, oh, no good, I can't hear the engine, the exhaust is too loud, you're too far away, it's blown out, blah, blah, blah. This is a good sound clip. Whatever, if I get it right or if I get it wrong,
Yeah, whoever
Whomever-
recorded this.
solid sound clip. I like it. I feel introduced to the machine in the appropriate way.
I
thanks for
feel
that.
pretty confident that I can tell you the manufacturer of this motorcycle, as well
Wow.
as the engine type of this motorcycle.
Wow, you guys are so much better. Can I get? Aren't there hints to like help? Yeah, I gave you guys multiple choice. I'm not
sure
going
you
for
give
double
us
or
multiple
nothing.
choice. Yeah. Okay. How about this? We'll
Should
give
I,
you a multiple choice.
should I
It
throw a
is-
hint out for Spenser just so he can
Well,
at
no,
least have a
I'm
bit
going
of a
to
hint
give
first?
multiple choice first.
Spenser,
It
would
is-
you like that?
It is either A, Honda CB1000R, B, a Triumph Street Triple 675, not 765, C, a Yamaha FZ09 or MT09, or D, a Yamaha Tracer 9.
And just for those of you listening at home, Zach and I do not know the answer, so we're not actually
No,
benevolent.
those are not real.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
But to Zach's credit, and Spenser, I'll just tell you, one of the 4 bikes that Zach just threw out there is one of the makes and engine types that I was going to guess.
Well, to give you an idea of how bad I am at this game, I was not going to guess a triple, but then Zach threw out a couple of triples, and now I'm like, maybe, or he threw out 3.
In my humble opinion, before
think
I
it's a triple.
read you hint number 1, I absolutely think that this is a Triumph triple.
Ooh, thinks it's a Triumph. Good.
Okay.
That's fair.
Well, what are our hints? For our official hints?
Yeah, I'll give you an official hint. Don't worry. This is going to help you narrow it down. It is a inline 3 engine.
Oh,
Nice. Okay.
oh,
So it is a
okay.
triple. It is
So
a
now,
triple.
It is a triple.
so this is sort of like the Lance Oliver dilemma, where I need to choose. Well, I guess I don't know what Zach's choice is. Spurgeon is telling me he thinks it's a Triumph triple, and Spurgeon has a fair amount of Triumph history. You worked in a Triumph dealership, right?
I did. I've owned a couple. I've had a couple in my garage.
To be clear, my guess is Yamaha triple. I think it's an FZ09 or MT09. But
That's a good guess too. Could be good.
Last time I thought we heard a triple, which was last season maybe. I thought that I guessed that it was a Triumph and it was a Yamaha.
I remember
think,
that.
and I was wrong.
He was.
So that makes me think that, like, in order to not repeat bikes, it would be a Triumph this time, because why would we do another Yamaha triple?
And to be
But
clear,
it just sounds like
definitely-
Yamaha to me.
it's not, in my humble opinion, it is not a new Tiger 900 where they're
no.
using the T-plane crank, because that has a different crank sound. This is either a 675 or an 800, or like the old. Yeah, this is an older Triumph. The older, I'm sticking with Triumph triple on this one. But Spencer,
okay.
would you like to
I'd
hear the
be-
second hint?
I mean, sure, but I'd be a fool not to go with the same guess as the man holding a trophy as he guesses. I feel.
I agree. I
it was-
I think Spurgeon's onto it. I mean, I think that with the powers of deduction, I don't know if Chase would repeat bikes and do another Yamaha triple. So I think a Triumph triple is a good guess.
I have no idea who is right after pulling up hint number 2, which says model introduced in 1968.
Okay. 1968, huh? Well, that bike is not from 1968 that you heard. I feel
Yeah,
confident
that
now
fuel
'cause I hear
injected
fuel
motorcycle is not.
But what about
from
a model?
1968?
Like Triumph? Did Triumph have a Tiger in 68?
Yeah, it's, maybe there was a Tiger Cub, I think,
yeah,
which
that
was
would
the
have
little
been-
single,
wouldn't-
but that
yeah.
wasn't a triple.
The Hurricane was that was a triple, but that wasn't until they didn't introduce a triple until later.
Unless
Unless it's a
there
model
was a
name.
Trident, right? Wasn't there a Triumph Trident? But that was
That was the 70s, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that was the 70s, first of all. And also, to say that the model was introduced then is sort of like, maybe you could say that, but
And
it was not the same bike or the same company, frankly.
The new Trident isn't a triple, is it?
It is,
Yeah,
yes.
it is.
Oh, see what I know.
You're learning all kinds of stuff when you don't have the answers in front of you, aren't you?
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good guess. Maybe Triumph Trident. Is it possible there was a Triumph Trident introduced in 1968? I wouldn't have thought so, but
I didn't
But
think
maybe.
so for those of you listening at home, a bit of a backstory here.
yeah, catch us up here.
Triumph was a British motorcycle manufacturer throughout the majority of the 1900s. They did go out of business in the early 1980s. They were reintroduced, unlike Indian, who apparently have had their name passed around 18 times.
Everybody knows
Triumph's
that.
name changed hands once, to my knowledge. And the new bikes utilized the triple platform. But in the original era of Triumphs, I believe the triple was only used in 1 or 2 models. And I didn't think that the Trident, and I thought there was the Hurricane too, but I didn't think those were until the early 70s. I could be off base on that. The Trident might have been 68.
Well, I think either way, we have exhausted our knowledge.
Spencer, you have to give us the final guess.
Yeah, no, my guess based on my knowledge and what I know about things and stuff is that it's probably a Triumph Trident. I think that's, yeah, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but that's kind of how I'm leaning.
I'm actually thinking Harley Davidson X90. But whatever, call it out.
Yeah, I think
Trident, I do remember the Trident name having some amount of history that would make sense to connect those. I don't remember that for the Tiger. I don't know what other.
Yeah.
And it does sound like a modern-ish bike, so I'm gonna go Trident.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time betting against you on that one. Zach, anything that's going to differentiate your guess from are you still sticking with the Yamaha, knowing that they didn't introduce a triple engine until I think it was 78?
No. No, I'm convinced it's a Triumph now.
All right. Well, we've convinced Zachary Quartz that Spurgeon, Dunbar, and Spenser Robert are correct. The correct answer is, in fact, a 2021 Triumph Trident 660. Zach, I'll give you a little bit of credit in the fact that the 660 engine is loosely based on the 675 engine, which was one of your original 4 guesses.
It is, yes.
So just a shout out, as Zach made a mention earlier, great sound clip. So thank you, Hendarson E.
Indeed.
Hendarson E sent us a sound clip of his fully stock 2021 Triumph Trident 660. He does request, or he or she, Hendarson, requests that we take the podcast on a world tour. Mainly Canada, Japan, Italy, and Germany are the 4 countries that they would like us to go to.
Back to where the first commercially viable motorcycle was produced, Germany.
Yeah, way to bring it back around. Did you appreciate that? Thank you. What was the person's name again that submitted the clip?
Hendarson.
Henderson. Sure, okay.
Hedarson. Hendarson. Hendarson? I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyway. But listen, if you're out there and you're thinking about sending us a clip, this is a great clip to listen to for exactly what we're listening to, for exactly what we're looking for. Nice sound of the bike starting up, letting it idle, a few good revs, letting it idle about 30 seconds in length is what we're looking for. So shout out to Henderson for the sound clip of the 2021 bone stock Triumph Trident.
Yes, neatly do.
And Spenser, you got it right. You've redeemed yourself.
I got 100% of my answers correct, so I will be taking that trophy. Thank you very much. Needed no help whatsoever.
No, it's time to get Spenser off the program before he tries to steal my trophy, because we still have to give away a T-shirt. We've got comments to read, and Spenser, your time with us is done. You were doing good up until you reached for my trophy.
Well, thank you, boys. I'm very impressed. That was a solid showing, a real nail biter down to the end. My palms were sweating, and I had all the answers. So, tip of the cap, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again one day.
All right. Well, thank you for being our host today, my friend. Well, that was quite fun. I think
Indeed.
I can say confidently that I had the most amount of fun with Spenser today on the podcast.
You can confidently say that you won the game. So why would you not have had the most fun?
I don't know. I feel like it was a lot closer than I was imagining it was going to be.
That was fun. It really was.
Yeah.
It was super fun down to the end there. The way the questions played out, it was a blast. And genuinely, I learned more than a thing or two going through all those questions and getting a little bit of background from Spenser. So hopefully you, dear Highside Lowside listener and viewer, got a kick out of it as well. We have used a lot of your time so far today, so let's blast through these this T-shirt giveaway and Highside Lowside comments so you can get on with the rest of your day.
So for those of you that maybe didn't win a trophy of your own, this is your opportunity to redeem yourself as we give away the ultimate trophy of podcasts, the Highside Lowside T-shirt reward. This is available to anyone that leaves us a review on Apple Podcasts. That's where these reviews help us out. Zach and I appreciate them. We read through them. We get some laughs. We get some kicks. And ultimately, we pick someone like Ed_Cool02 to win a T-shirt. Zach, why did we pick Ed_Cool02 today?
Well, Ed wrote in and said, I've been listening from the beginning and you found your mojo. Not too much agreeing, not too much disagreeing, just right. Nice flow of guests. Also, I really like the non-motorcycle industry guest. For what it's worth, Ed, we're not sure who you're talking about. But the most important thing about Ed's review that he left on Apple Podcast is the title, the subject line of his title, which was Spenser, we want Spenser. And we figured this was an appropriate time to use it in that this episode included our friend Spenser Robert. The reason that Ed Cool did that was, I think last time Spenser was on the podcast, he said something like, just put my name in the review and you'll get a free t-shirt or something like that. So Ed was playing to Spenser's vanity and it worked. We're going to send you a t-shirt, Ed. Thank you very much. We're glad that you like the podcast. That makes us happy. When you send your preferred t-shirt size and mailing address to highsidelowside@revzilla.com, you could also tell us what you meant by you like the non-motorcycle industry guest. We don't know what that meant. It doesn't actually matter. We're not judging. We just would like to know who you're talking about, and maybe we can do more of that in the future.
There you go. And so for those of you that have not won a t-shirt, it's okay. You have an opportunity in the future. You might get a t-shirt. You could also go buy one. They are for sale at Revzilla.com. You can type in Highside Lowside and buy yourself a Highside Lowside t-shirt and let all of your friends and family know what podcast is your favorite. Speaking of, the Highside Lowside comment of the episode goes to Mike P. Mike P mentioned, actually, Mike P said, "You've mentioned the joys of touring on an inappropriate motorcycle. I am intrigued. But when I Googled it, I only find articles and videos about mini motos and scooters, or recommendations for rather appropriate adventure and touring bikes. I can't find anything about good small displacement non-touring motorcycles that would actually be fun on long road trips. There's probably a good reason why no such lists exist. So my question is this: what inappropriate motorcycles would the two of you recommend for someone who wants to take a multi-day trip across the United States on back roads and state highways while avoiding freeways?" And Zach and I loved this question.
It's a fun question. And to Mike P's point, there's not a lot of, if you Google what bike should I not take on a road trip, you're probably not going to find a lot of articles about that, because it's sort of like saying, you're like looking for a recipe and you're like, what are foods that I should not combine? Like, no one's written articles about what foods don't taste good together, because that's not what people usually want. People usually want a recipe that'll work. So the ultimate answer here, in my opinion, and of course I'll let Mr. Spurg weigh in, is the one that you love. That's the one that you should take on a multi-day trip across the U.S. on back roads and state highways while avoiding freeways. If you're not going to go on the freeway, you're really open to take whatever bike you want. And that's sort of the beauty of a quote-unquote inappropriate touring bike, is you can take whichever one speaks to you. Maybe it's a mini bike. Maybe it's an old clapped out vintage bike that just doesn't like going 80 miles an hour, or just plain won't do it, or whatever. Then all of a sudden your doors are open to taking the tour that you would like to take.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about this, I feel like ad nauseum at times. It's even part of the Highside Lowside drinking game, where every time I mention taking a road trip or a cross-country trip on a Triumph Bonneville, you might have to take a drink. But like, thank you, Zach. The Triumph Bonneville that I've owned for years has often been, I've been told that it's inappropriate. I remember my first cross-country trip on that motorcycle. A gentleman on a large American touring bike came up to me at a gas station and said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "New Jersey." And I was in Wyoming at the time. And he said, "You can't go to New Jersey on that motorcycle. It's just not big enough." And I did it, damn it. And I came back again. So I think whether it's a little 55 horsepower Triumph Bonneville, or it's, I know Lance has done some small displacement tours around the Great Lakes. There's all kinds of fun you can have on small displacement motorcycles that might not be labeled as touring machines. And that's really what Zach and I are getting at. You don't have to take a Honda Monkey down Baja to count for this. You can, take a small bike that might already be in your garage and just throw some bags on the back and a tent and hit the highway.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think let your own preferences be your guide on this one, Mike. I hope that you find your way around the U.S. and do some trips on a bike that might not be deemed as appropriate. But if and when you are doing that and anyone gives you static, you can tell them that Zach and Spurg said it was okay.
Yeah. And if you're looking for some articles, you can always check out Common Tread. One of the ones that I remember doing recently was I wrote an article about a street twin, and taking a street twin from Georgia to Texas and then back up to Pennsylvania. There's some articles in there on the Bonneville trips and other things. So there's plenty of content about inappropriate motorcycles on Common Tread. I think there's some stuff from Zach and Ari about mini bikes. I think there's some stuff from Andy Greaser about different tiny or what was the reliability rally $1,000 motorcycles that they take on trips. There's all kinds of stuff over on Common Tread, Mike. So hopefully, if you stop Googling and start searching on Common Tread, you might find some stuff.
Yes, indeed. That's a good point. Okie dokie. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, feel free to remember that you can leave a comment below if you like. If you would like to communicate with us in any other way, we recommend sending an email to highsidelowside@revzilla.com. We are receptive to feedback, suggestions, funny stories, whatever you got. Send it on over. And a friendly reminder that if you have a motorcycle that makes a noise, you can record that noise and send that audio clip to highsidelowside@revzilla.com, and it will be considered for the engine sound guessing game.
So, Zach, we've come to the end of the episode. It's the first time we have played the Motorcycle Trivia Challenge. What are you taking away? It's for those of you listening at home. It is a Friday afternoon for Zach and I. What are you going to carry into the weekend away from this episode?
Well, it's a darn good question. I learned so much this time around. I learned about about Suzuki making textiles and
Or looms. Or mills.
Mills. Yeah. I don't know. What's my big takeaway here? I think the big takeaway, I have to say, is that you, Spurgeon Dunbar, are not a sore winner. I appreciate that. No gloating. You're very happy. You're proud of your trophy, and I can appreciate that. But there's been no face rubbing or anything like that. You even said you wished you did better, and I just appreciate your sportsmanship in your competition and in your victory.
Well, I would say that in my humble opinion, we're both winners today, and I'm not gonna share my trophy with you per se, but I will say that I do have somewhere on my desk of stuff that I've thrown all over. I do still have a Zack Quartz name tag for the trophy.
Right.
So I guess my final thought is I had a lot of fun doing this. More fun than I thought I was going to have doing this. And maybe, just maybe, considering I have a trophy and I've got an alternate name tag, maybe this is a game that we play again one day. We'll have to let the audience shoot an email over to highsidelowside@revzilla.com and let us know if you enjoyed Zach and I competing against one another in a trivia challenge. If you enjoyed Spenser as our lovely and handsome host, or maybe you hated everything about this episode and you want to tell us that as well. So, but I guess my takeaway is that I'm hopeful that maybe we get to play this game again and we get a chance to redeem ourselves as maybe doing a little bit better next time.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
We did do better. I feel like we did better than we thought we were going to do, for what it's worth.
I think I'd have to agree. All right, everybody. That's the episode for Highside Lowside. Thanks for hanging out. Please do give us your feedback. Please do ride safe if that's a thing that you do, and we will see you next time.
Watch out for those speed cameras in California.